Welcome to North NBC Narratives on Location. Today, I have an amazing person and a great businessman by name of Cam. Did I say that right?
You nailed it.
Oh my God, I need to deserve a medal. Cam, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I know you're very busy. Talk about who you are and what you do.
Well, first and foremost, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Talk about who I am. I like to tell people I'm just a guy.
Just a guy?
I'm just a guy. So I like to think I'm a pretty simple guy. Three things really interest me about everything else. Family, number one.
Okay.
So I'm a family guy. So whenever people ask
You
me,
have
I always
kids and
talk
stuff
about
like that?
Oh yeah.
You don't look like you have kids. You look so happy.
Oh, really?
Usually people
I feel happy. No, I'm blessed, man. Like the kids I have, they're all girls. All girls.
How many do you have?
So right now I have 3 girls. So they're
You have 3 girls?
3 girls. Nine is the oldest, 7, and then we just had a baby in September. So 6 months.
So I have 3 kids.
All 3 girls. So right now, it's not bad. We'll see what happens we'll see what happens in 5 years. Well, they're going to be teenagers. 2 of them will be. I love those kids to death. Yeah, they're great kids. Super awesome. And then my wife Robin, we've been married for 13 years.
13 years.
13 years. I was married young, man.
What happened, man?
What happened? It was a choice. Nobody forced me. Yeah. So I mean, that's for me. That's life, man. First and foremost is them. I love them to death. Robin, she puts up with my stuff, man. Like I've put her through a lot of stuff, especially in the last 5-6 years, growing a business. But she's unbelievably supportive. So
You better say that, man.
No,
She's watching.
I
You
know.
what's going to happen if you say
know.
something else?
I try hardest to tell her that even when no one's watching. Yeah. But I know she's watching Zeus. So yeah. So that's number one. I'm a family man. Number 2, faith is very important to me. I'm a faith-based man. So
Good.
Yeah, it's a priority in my life. And then
But you got to believe in something to go somewhere, right?
yeah.
Because if you don't believe in him, then you won't have. I guess sometimes your things are not integrable. Right?
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Family, faith, and then the third, I don't have a lot of hobbies. I guess the hobby that I have and something I've thought about a lot over the years is, my wife used to bug me like, you need a hobby. Go get a hobby. Go find something to do.
She just wants you out of the house, man. She's like,
You're a smart guy, Zeus. You're a
well,
smart guy.
I've been around the.
Yeah. I'm telling you, what's up with my stuff? No, and I think she's actually toned off of that now. She used to say all the time, man, get a hobby, go find something to do.
Yeah.
So I do things, with the kids. We love being outside. We go biking, we play sports, all that. But the thing that really interests me, man, is building business. Like it's hard,
Yeah.
but I love it.
It's a lot, man. People don't see how
Crazy.
difficult it is. So, okay, what is your hobbies? I'm very interested in
The hobbies, the few that I have. Yeah, anything with the kids. That's what I tell people. So we love being outside, mountain biking. Kids love biking. I used to play a lot of tennis and squash. I toned back a little bit lately, but tennis and squash, yeah. Basically any sport. I love sports, man. I love sports.
What is that sport is that squash that you hit this heavy ball into the wall and it comes back to you?
Yeah.
That's squash?
Tiny little ball. Yeah.
Then you're
Crazy
in the closed
workout.
room.
Yeah,
You're in a closed room, so if he falls and someone's face doesn't break, but only your face breaks.
That's it. Oh yeah.
How can I know which one you're talking about? I did it a couple of times. I didn't like it.
So where I'm from, we didn't have squash. There's no squash court. So here in Prince George,
They don't have it.
where there wasn't. So I moved here. I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what's squash?
Yeah.
But a lot of people here play. So I
I've
picked it up.
I've
and I
seen
love
some
it.
people that
Oh
they
yeah.
have no serious, right? It depends on the ball, right?
100.
I don't know. But it's fun, because anytime this ball, if you don't catch it, right?
I just love it. Yeah, sports is awesome. I love sports. Yeah.
I'll tell you something funny. There was when I was in Vancouver, there was this Filipino gentleman, right? They have this sport, okay? It's a ball, but the ball is made of a round stone. No, I'm not joking. Yeah. And they have to pass this ball to each other, and then sometimes
Yeah.
they get their bones broken, things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I thought the guy was putting my leg and looked at it. It's just crazy.
Guaranteed somewhere there's a world champ for that sport.
There's a world
Oh yeah,
championship like that.
there is for everything. Well, you guys talked
Yeah.
to Vern. There's world championship arm wrestling. There's everything out there.
Remember that movie Apocalypto? Was it Apocalypto? The one that was his name made.
Oh, man.
I forgot his name.
I don't watch movies. See, this is another thing.
You don't watch movies?
I watch so little movies just because I
It's
don't
time
have the attention.
consuming, right? It's time
So much
consuming.
time. So much time.
I haven't had time to watch a lot of movies lately. I literally, maybe this whole 12 months, maybe I've watched 4 movies.
Yeah.
But it's time consuming, right?
It's a lot of time.
I never watch episodes.
Yeah.
Never. Because sometimes what happens, I go crazy. I have to binge
Yeah.
watch everything and I fast forward everything and I don't know what happened.
That's it,
And,
that's
I, and I go to,
Yeah.
so,
I really enjoy it. Like I don't just,
Yeah, yeah.
there's some movies I really enjoy, but
Yeah.
like most of the time sitting for 2.5 hours, like I just don't.
there's so much other things you can do, right?
That's it. That's it.
So where are you from? Were you born in Prince George or?
No, I was born in Vancouver.
Oh, where in Vancouver?
Or Squamish, sorry. So I born in,
Yeah.
grew up a few years in North Vancouver.
Yeah,
I was,
North
I was
Vancouver. I
little.
know North Vancouver.
Yeah,
What's the food and what's the Persians? And
Yeah. Yeah, my parents had Persian friends there, man. Yeah.
the food is so good, man.
Oh yeah, everything. I love Vancouver. I mean, I'm happy where I am, but
Yeah.
love Vancouver. Still have family there. Yeah. But when I was like 4, yeah, Dad was working in government. He was a government guy. He worked for Parks Department, BC Parks. So,
Okay, yeah.
So anyways, when I was 4 years old, he took a transfer up to Fort St. John.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's where I've spent 26 years. I grew up there. That was
Yeah,
home
you
basically.
grew
So
up
yeah,
there for
from
26
4
years.
till
Yeah.
29 basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long time
That's
out
a
there.
long time, right?
You've been up there?
Yeah, I've been once.
Once.
It's very cold. all places in Canada that were extremely cold, including Winnipeg.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
I thought I would die.
I don't regret it, but it's not the easiest place to live, I'm glad we're here. I'm
Yeah.
glad my family's here now.
Yeah. So what happened? You moved here.
What happened when I moved here?
So what did you go to school there? They talk about some of the.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm up there, small town, like 20,000 people. So you kind of know it on, or you have your group. of
Everyone
friends.
knows your business.
Yeah, well, that's it. So I didn't really have much business when I first started. Like when I was done with school, I was working like part time somewhere, and then I took a full time job doing maintenance at the big shopping mall there. Big shopping mall, the biggest shopping mall that they had.
Yeah.
That was my first. I tell people that was my first real job.
Yeah.
So I would have been like 20 old, and this like I had no business aspirations. Like I was a good worker, but I started working in the maintenance department, and like I tell people this all the time. Like I didn't know anything. I still don't know much, Zeus, but like as far as how buildings work and construct and all that, like I didn't know it all worked because my dad, he was a government guy. He was actually good with his hands and tools and stuff. He never showed it a lot.
Yeah.
So I grew up in an environment, no construction. So anyways, I took a job at the mall to learn, facility maintenance, and I didn't know anything, man. So
wow.
I just kind of learned as I went, working in an old building, just how things work, how plumbing works, how electrical works, how drywall works.
Talk about that. How do you learn that?
So the first 2 years I was there, I was just learning, and as I learned, I started to really enjoy it. Like I loved understanding how things work. Like I wanted to know, like how does the air conditioning work? How does it work? So that was a great place to work because they after a couple of years, I spent 5 years there in total, but towards the end especially, like they gave me a lot of autonomy to just like if something was broken, Cam, see if you can go fix it. So the rule of thumb was, hey, if you can fix it, great, and if you can't, hire somebody. But they would always let me try. So because I was working at the same place for 5 years, you get to know the building really well, and I was more looking for problems at that point. Like towards the end, I just wanted more and more to do. Right? That's kind of where I got my hands on trade experience. But the other thing that happened when I was working there, and this is how the business thing started, was a lot of the tenants. There was about 40, maybe 40 tenants at the mall, 40 stores, some big, some small. A lot of like local mom and pops. And they'd see me, going around fixing stuff around the mall all day. So they'd come talk to me. They'd be like, hey, we have some stuff we need some help with. Can you come help us out? That's how it started. So I would go into their stores and just, fix up like little things. And
What kind of things you fix?
all sorts. Dude, I was doing stuff I had no business doing. Like, one of the shops, they wanted a wall built, like across the back room, to make a new back room, and they wanted a door hung and some things installed. And I've never done it, but I was just, for lack of a better word, bored. So I was like, I'm gonna go figure it out.
That's a hobby right there, man.
Yeah.
There you go. Like,
how hard could it be to build a wall? So little things like that. I'd install like electrical plugs for people, or build some fixtures that they needed. Just little things. So I kind of got a reputation as the guy that just did stuff, right? So then that parlayed to my first I'd call it my first actual business was commercial cleaning.
Okay.
So there was a safety company at
good
the
money
mall.
in it.
Oh, fantastic!
lot of money
Yeah,
in it,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I actually had friends who had commercial cleaning contracts. I was kind of familiar with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the tenants of the mall just made one comment to me one day, like, "Yeah, we had to fire our cleaning service."
You're like-
Something. Oh, I was there, man.
Talk me how you did it. Talk about that. Let's talk about that. So you heard the guy says he's gone, right?
That's it.
What happened in your head at that time, and then to go through the process with me? Because
Well, what went in my head instantly was, this is something I could do.
Yeah.
It's not a big building, easy to clean.
Yeah.
I know people in the industry, so they could probably help me.
Yeah.
So he said that, and I said, well, like, do you need somebody?
yeah.
He's like, yeah, we're gonna find somebody. So I was like, well, what about me? So that's kind of started. He kind of looked at me. I remember he looked at me funny because I didn't have, I had no insurance at that point. I didn't have my work safe coverage, all things like that. I got those eventually. But to his credit, he's like, he took a chance on me, and it was an easy, simple cleaning job. But that was my first actual business, was sending invoices to people properly. And I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was fun.
So what happened? So you asked him the question.
Yeah,
He said yes.
yeah.
What happened right after that? Take me through the process. What did you do? You were running around like crazy, getting all things probably, right? Or
That's shit. Like it fired brain up, and that's what happens to this day. Like I see opportunities in things in business, right? I love like I said earlier, I just love business. I love building things. So when I saw an opportunity, I was like, I want to see what I can do here.
talk about what you did. Talk about the process that you went to get the stuff. Talk about all of them.
I mean, thankfully in that business, it wasn't too complicated, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
One facility, not too big. So I basically just prepared a little simple business plan, figured out what it was going to look like. I figured out how much it was going to cost me.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this, but I just, it's such a small contract. I thought this is a good way to start.
Yeah.
So yeah, I looked at the numbers, how much cleaning product am I going to need to spend, and they were super helpful as the customer. They actually told me this is what they would use, and so. Yeah, I figured it was low risk, I still kept my job. It was a very small contract, so I could still work at the mall, and then a couple days a week or 3 days I would go in there very early and perform the cleaning. They showed up, and I had that contract for about probably 4 years.
4 years.
Until we moved.
So did you go? So what did you buy? You had to go invest in some equipment, right?
A little bit, yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, thankfully with cleaning, not a huge investment. Yeah, my real investment equipment came later in life, but yeah, it's a cost, man. It's a time. Yeah. And then that was my first real experience. When I was doing little things for the people in the mall, fixing a door. That's easy. You figure it out, fix a door. You can't make it worse. But when you have an actual service contract, that was my first experience delivering a consistent service to somebody. And to their credit, they wanted it done a very specific way. The safety company that looked clean, professional. So by nature, I'm not a great cleaner. So I had to elevate myself to make sure, right? Hey, I'm going to meet the client standards. Yeah.
So did you buy? I guess you have to buy some electrical equipment. Right?
Yeah, if I remember. Yeah, little things.
Or is that?
Yeah. I can't even remember.
So you clean, right?
Yeah,
Because I think you have to clean.
Yeah.
Then I guess you wax after.
Yeah,
You do some kind of a waxing. I've seen it so many times.
I wanted to get into that so bad. Yeah, because there's fantastic money in floor finishing, waxing,
Yeah,
stripping, cleaning. Yeah. They would actually hire a whole different company for that. So I never got into that part.
What
of
you
it.
were doing the cleaning?
I was just doing it today, surfaces, carpet, bathrooms, all that
Do you
stuff.
have your wife come and help you or no?
Once in a while she would, man.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
once in a-
amazing.
Yeah.
So she's a team player, man.
She is a team player.
It's
yeah.
very hard to find those, eh?
Oh, I'm telling you,
Trust me.
I married a good one, bro. I
Does she
am.
have a sister?
No, she's an only child, man.
Oh,
God,
man.
I'm so
I'll
sorry.
have to go back in time.
Yeah.
No, but it's very good to have a team player because they're there for you, right?
Yeah.
And when if ever things go down, they come and stand side by side with you,
Dude, yeah.
which is a very important thing, right?
There's no way I could do what I'm doing now without her. 100%.
That is beautiful, man. These are the stories that I love to hear, right? This beautiful, love, delicious story. We had a couple of it here, right? But not enough.
Yeah.
So you want to help you a couple of times.
Absolutely, yeah. She'd come help. Yeah, she was probably better than I was. So yeah, once in a while. But it was early mornings, so I would do it before I started my day job. Eventually, I left the mall, I started a whole other trade career, and I still kept the cleaning contract. So on my way to a glass company, that's where I ended up working at a glass company. I'd stop by there on the way, spend an hour and a half, 2 hours clean, and then go to work at 7:30 a.m. at the glass shop. Yeah, so I just developed this like ambition. Like, yeah, I enjoyed it.
So did that contract expand it to other things, or kept it as that one contract?
Funny enough, nothing came of it. It was just that one
Just
service
one
contract.
contract.
Yeah, that was my first and only like actual commercial cleaning contract.
Did you
but
make
it was-
any money out of it? Or
Oh
no?
yeah,
Okay,
it was good.
Yeah, as long as you made some money.
Wait, I was young. Like I'm still young, but I was really young then. So I was like 24, 25. So like if you could make an extra, I truthfully don't even remember what the contract was worth. Probably like $700-800 a month. Not much. But at that age, like
Yeah,
$700-800 is
anything.
helpful.
Man, you were married that young, eh? 2020.
Married at 19, man.
You were married at 19.
Yeah.
Oh, just getting a. What happened? Tell me about the story.
What
no,
happened?
No, this is
She
interesting.
cornered me and said, "You have to." No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
you know
kidding.
that happened to some people that I know, eh?
Yeah, probably.
I'm not gonna name them.
Yeah. No, we just
Okay,
we
talk
found
about
each other early.
Okay,
and-
no.
Yeah,
We're gonna
you
go
want the
back
real
now.
story?
No,
You wanna go back?
Well, we're gonna go back. Okay.
All right.
We're gonna go talk about the business stuff in the soon. But
Sure.
this is where the meat of the story is. Okay, so
100%.
when you first met your wife,
Yeah. She's from Edmonton.
where did you meet her first? Like, tell me the whole process. Do you saw her? Go to the emotions with me.
So I think she moved when she was 17. So she was in Edmonton, moved to Fort St. John.
Okay.
We immediately become in the same friend circle because we have the same religious background.
Okay, so you meet her probably, in the,
100%, yeah. Through a religious meeting, yeah. So it's
okay.
a very small town, so we
Yeah.
get to know each other pretty quick.
So you were sitting, I guess, in a circle, right? Was it in one of those? We were sitting. How do you saw her? The first time you saw her?
Oh, like you're talking about the actual physical first time?
As a physical
Man,
first
you go
time.
deep.
Because this is the story, right? So
I'll be honest, I don't know, because I was like 17, man. I wasn't thinking about getting married. I was thinking about
no,
like,
but you see a girl that you like, at that
Yeah.
age, you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
the heart is beating.
Yeah.
First time, did you?
So a funny story. She, I truthfully don't remember the first time I actually saw her, but she phoned my house. This
Yeah.
is back when we all had home phones.
Yeah.
She phoned my house. I was there, so I would have been like 17, and she asked for the phone number for somebody who is in our congregation.
Yeah.
But she butchered the person's name. She totally said it wrong.
Yeah.
So instead of me being all nice and just like pretending it off, I like corrected her on the phone. I was like, "Oh, that's not her name." And she says that's the moment. She's like, yeah. She's like, that's the moment where I knew like something was gonna happen with this guy because I made fun of her on the phone.
Because sometimes guys give too much attention, right? So
Sure. Yeah.
okay, so I guess she fall in love with you, I guess, there or something like that, right?
I guess so. Over the next 2-3 years, yeah.
Okay, then what happened after that? What was the first like, interaction, dating or something like that?
Yeah. Oh man.
Come on,
Oh,
brother,
wait.
take us to the
So
time.
like
This
we
is
were
something. This is
yeah,
something.
yeah.
This thing is gonna be forever, right? This is something you're gonna watch. Your
It's true.
grandkids is gonna watch.
It's
you know,
true.
and then when
Yeah,
we are both old and very strong, people will remember that.
So you're saying I have to tell the truth?
Tell the truth.
I'll
man.
tell you
Go
the
ahead.
truth.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
Give it to us.
So we're in a small group of friends, right? Small friend circle, maybe 10, 12 of us who are around the same age. So we're always we're always seeing each other, always hanging out. And, I think I probably wasn't even quite 19. I think it was just about eight.
Yeah.
She had appendix surgery, appendicitis,
Yeah.
right? So she has surgery. And so I really liked her.
Yeah.
So like I made her like, yeah.
When you say you like her, see, there's two types of likes. Like, right? And when you like, you get, you get all these fuzzy feelings
Sure.
and your heart beats. Was it like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
good.
what's the other one?
The other one is just, she's cute. Okay, who's next?
No, okay, yeah, it was the first one. No, I was
Your
like,
heart
no,
was
no.
beating.
I saw Robin. I was like,
Let me
yeah,
see,
no,
let me see this thing.
I like Robin. So I did I feel like I was last of this generation to do this, but I made her when she was recovering from surgery. She was living in a condo. She moved out really early. She was living in a condo with 2 other girls, and I made her. What did I made her? I made her a concert movie, like a DVD from a concert, from a band that we both liked.
So you recorded it.
Dude, no, I got it on a DVD somehow and
yeah.
got it to her, right?
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
before Netflix and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah. And I think it was like probably a week after that where I told her like, hey, we should go out. And then we started going out.
So what happened? What happened when you give her the DVD?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
was the experience? Were you shaking when you give her the DVD? Or
like this.
how was it? Or just say, here you go, take it.
No, because we were just good friends. We
Yeah,
always
yeah.
joked around. Me and her were always good friends.
Yeah.
Other people in that friend group, they were a little weird. But, me and her. Nah, I'm just joking. We and her always got along. We liked the same interests, same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So you give her the DVD and that's it, right? And then when you ask her, oh,
I think it was like a week later
Week
because she
later.
was not recovered from surgery. She like it was like winter, it was like November, so I
Oh my
yanked her outside somewhere like -30,
yeah.
and I said I should go out, and she said yeah.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. Okay,
That's
so
it.
how were you feeling? Were you nervous when you were gonna ask her out?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Tell me about the.
Oh,
Tell,
100%.
come on, man. Give us the
Well,
juice here.
I don't know. Like that was my friend, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to mess that up. You
Yeah,
don't wanna make
yeah.
her we don't want to make her weird, uncomfortable about it.
So you had this big risk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember the feeling leading up to that.
Talk
like,
about the feeling.
Oh man, the feeling. Well, the feeling's horrible. Like
Yeah.
if I hope I don't mess this up. I hope this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Plus, I was so young, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know. Yeah. So we ended up getting married young, so it all worked out. But that feeling, man, I was like, whoa.
So you take her out. Where did you take her out on the first date?
First date. The restaurant's gone now. There was a restaurant called. Oh, I remember it was in Fort St. John.
Oh, who cares?
I
Who
can remember the
cares? Okay, so
street.
what did you eat? Do you remember what you eat? What was the first interaction when you were sitting? Because at that age, it's very rare, right? So.
Man, this is intense. You didn't warn me it was going to get so intense.
No, I just want to get this because this is where the meat of the story is. Then I will connect it to everything. You'll see. You'll see the
Yeah.
magic happening.
Fair enough.
Good for
Yeah.
your children.
I think. What were the first things we? Well, I don't remember what we ate. I would have ate something boring. I know that.
What were the feelings? Let's
what-
talk about
what were
the feelings. Were you like, oh,
You know, I'll say this. I don't remember the specifics of that conversation. I'll tell you it was like from the moment we started dating to when we got married was like less than a year. Like
so you moved pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
What is your most memorable date?
Most memorable date. Holy cow, man! Actually, you know what? I do know. We drove. Her mom came with us. We drove to Edmonton,
Yeah.
where she was from. Saw some old friends,
Yeah.
and then we went to a concert there of the same band that
You
we
both
found
like.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I go, but yeah, you just made me think of something. That was really the thing that started the whole thing when we were like 17. She told me, or she said out loud once that she loved this band.
Yeah.
They're British.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way you just said that name. Like rock, it's a band called Muse.
Yeah.
M-U-S-E.
Muse.
You know them?
Yeah, I love them. Oh yeah.
So they weren't a big thing, man. Like 2007, 2008. Not here.
Are great band.
Fantastic,
You
man.
know the way they talk about things. It makes you really think, right?
They are a thinking band. So
Yeah.
she says this out loud once,
Yeah.
and I caught my ear immediately. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, I probably
Yeah.
would have married her right there, honestly. Like,
Those are one of my
holy
favorite bands, right?
Yeah, they're awesome.
It-
So yeah, we went and saw them. Yeah, that's probably it.
The effect these guys brought,
Crazy.
all the friends they do it, it's insane.
It's crazy.
Right? It's like almost like Linkin Park, right? The quality. So that's when everything started. And then you get married right after how long? 1 year you got married?
Pretty much, yeah. October that year, yeah. So it was like 10 months later we get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was 20. I was like 2 weeks before I turned 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get married.
How was-
Super young.
how-
Super broke.
Yeah? How was the marriage? Man, talk about the marriage.
How was it?
How was the marriage? Like,
The actual wedding?
yeah, was it like, what was the feelings? Talk about like, because this is such a young age getting married.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Like I would never encourage someone
Yeah.
now, like
Yeah.
you know, yeah, go get married at 19. Like no, I'd tell people be cautious. It worked out great for me,
Yeah.
but I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
But I would tell other people maybe be careful, be cautious, because you're so young. And it's funny at 19, I thought
Yeah.
you know, 19 turning 20. Now I'm married.
Yeah.
You know, responsible for a wife. I was thinking like, man, I got most things figured out
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
But then, like 10 years later, you look back on it and you go, "Oh man, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't have my stuff together. Like I
Yeah.
kind of did.
Yeah.
I had enough for us to like be stable, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're just so young at that age. So the first year, two, just getting used to it, man. Yeah,
Wow. How was it like when you had your first kid?
crazy.
How do you feel? Because it changes. Right?
Oh yeah.
What happened when you had your first kid?
First.
What do you say to yourself when you saw?
What did I say to myself the first time I saw our oldest kid come out? I don't remember the words, but there's no. I don't have a fancy, eloquent way of
No, but
saying.
your mentality shifts right there. You're like, oh my God, another human being.
Yeah, I don't think you can even properly describe it.
Yeah.
So you know, I know other points say like, oh, it makes you think differently. You're
Yeah.
different. You know,
Yeah.
absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Like it completely shifts. Do you have kids?
No.
No.
I wanted to, but because of all of these things that are happening, right?
Yeah, oh, totally. Yeah.
That's-
No, I get it. Like it's hard now. Like you know, it makes me being a parent, but
Because they're not kids anymore, right? the society is doing a good job of training your kids, right?
Yeah.
For me, to be a parent, I have to have full control,
Right.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, not to make them go crazy, but there's some stuff I don't accept as a parent, right? And I like those things to be followed, right?
Mm.
Because your job as a parent is to give something that is better than yourself, right? Not something that is horrible. So you have to train them properly. You cannot let them be influenced too much with, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's almost unnerving
yeah.
to me because as a
It's
parent,
just scary, man.
You,
It's just scary sometimes.
yeah,
Right.
like, so like Robin and I, we're similar people. We have similar values,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I think about this a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how much we incorporate those
Yeah.
ideas and values and beliefs in children. Like, yes, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they're going to come to age very soon, like
then
13,
that's it.
14. Well,
Right.
they're gonna have to decide for themselves,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, am I gonna stick with the same ideas, values, teachings that I was raised with?
Yeah.
And it's no different than me when I was up, like my parents raised me with a set of values.
Yeah.
That's what I think about a lot when,
Yeah.
you know, long day at work or long, you know, it's not always easy to spend time with kids. Now I have 3 of them, so now it's extra hard. But, you know, that's what I think about is like, I don't have a huge window of time.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna get to 13, 15. They're gonna, like you said, society, right?
Yeah.
There's so many outside noise and influence that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
getting-
they're going to make their own decisions, and so my job is to give them the best possible chance that
Yeah.
I think to help them make good decisions.
That's your only option, right?
That's it.
That's your only option to give them so much, you know, that they can think for them, right? I make a joke about this, but I'm serious. If I had kids, they'd be trained in jiu-jitsu and boxing. No, they will learn about psychology, and then some other extra stuff. You know, so when somehow they have the full tool set, right, to know what's going on, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of things about psychology, right?
Yeah.
If your kids know about psychology, they know. If especially girls, right?
Yeah.
Some guy come and they're playing all these games. They can see like what's going on in here, right? So they make the right decision. Especially in our society, as things become, as you know, instant, right? So
Yeah. So true.
but it's hard. It's very hard to be a father. You know? And same thing as a mother, right? You know? Okay, that's good. You know, I don't want to put too much thing on that. We're gonna go
it's
into
okay.
deep conversation. You know, have a big mouth. So what happened after when you had kids?
Kids. Well, first kid, you know, you just figure out.
Yeah, you make all your mistakes on the first kid,
You
right?
make all the mistakes on the first one. No, our first kid was awesome. She was super relaxed. So that wasn't bad. The second kid we weren't planning. Like we were planning, but not that quick.
Yeah.
So like they're only 2 years apart. So the second one was a big surprise.
Yeah.
Even though it was a surprise, like we adapted pretty quick though. I think
Yeah.
we, you know, by the time the second one came, I was 26 years old. So,
Yeah.
you know, slightly smarter, slightly more figured out. But still, you know, like still wasn't doing a lot from a business standpoint still.
Yeah.
I was still doing little things.
Yeah.
Still doing just the cleaning.
Yeah.
I didn't really start the path and like really exploring business opportunities
Yeah.
till 2018.
2018.
When the kids would have been like 3 and 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that. How did it happen? What pushed you to do that?
The business.
Yeah, 18. Okay.
So 20 was quite the year for me. I'm gonna go back just a little bit. My first year at the shopping mall, so like 2011.
Yeah.
So I'm just 20 years old. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm just there. I'm just learning stuff, right? But my boss, my boss, and then the big boss, hired a company there in Fort St. John to paint the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So big shopping mall, big parking lot.
Yeah.
They hired this company, and it went horrible.
Why? Horrible.
It went horrible. The guy there was one guy in Fort St. John who painted parking lots.
Yeah.
Only one. Because you need a specialized piece of equipment, right?
Did he have that, or did he use?
Oh yeah, he had it. Yeah, he was there for like literally 25 years, 30
Yeah.
years. I think either his kids or niece and nephew are running the business now. They're still very much there
Yeah.
doing it. But back in the day, it was him. It was the original owner. So he was the only for like 30 years in Fort St. John. So if you wanted your parking lot painted, which most business owners do, you had to call this guy. So they called him, and he did the work. And truthfully, Zeus, I don't think the work was a problem. Like the actual work he did, I think it was fine. I don't really remember, but I do remember like they did not deal with him. Like he was just a
It was his
difficult guy.
personality.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
God.
So
Okay.
I thought it was like a joke, but I saw it happen myself. It would have been like 2012. Every spring he would come into our office at the mall. We had a little administration.
So you had that
office.
contract forever, basically.
No, is the problem. Like he would come in every spring, so snow's melting,
Yeah.
you know, getting close to the season where you can parking lots. Every spring he would come into the office, he'd fling open the door.
Yeah.
He wouldn't say hello. He would have like, you know, the cigarette butt had just left his mouth. He had like a wife beater on and he'd come in, he wouldn't say hi, he would just say, "So you guys gonna paint your parking lot here or what?" Like that was his sales pitch, man.
That's a selfish.
Yeah, 100%. It was like, so the problem was like he was the only guy for 30 years and he knew it. So because
That's
we
where
were
he
one
had
of the
that.
parking lots, yeah, just come in and just like no customers.
Wife beater, like not even dressed up.
Yeah, yeah. Wife beater, gold chain. Yeah, yeah.
Bacon stuck.
So like even now, man, like
Gold chain?
I got no.
Mafia.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This is
Like
interesting.
I got nothing against the guy. Like I have no ill will to him. I'm getting to the like
could
he's
make a
basically the
skit out
reason
of
why
that.
I started
Yeah.
basically, right? So anyways, that I observed that in like 2012 and I was like, that's crazy that this is the only guy painting parking lots. Like it's a small town.
Yeah.
But it got to that where if we did need that work, they would hire, my boss would go hire a company in Alberta to come.
Oh, God.
That's how much he
Yeah.
didn't want to work with them. Like it
Yeah.
was just too difficult, right?
Yeah.
So I sat in 2012 and I basically parked that idea. I was
Yeah.
like one day, you know, like
Yeah.
there should be somebody else painting parking lots in this town.
Yeah.
There's enough parking lots, right?
Yeah.
So 2018,
Yeah.
fast forward to 2018. So by 2018, I was in the glass industry. I went to work at a local, they were a bigger company,
Yeah.
but local glass shop.
Yeah.
So I did commercial work, commercial installation.
Yeah. That's heavy.
Oh yeah, dude.
Did it
great.
damage your back at all? Or do you
No, thank. A little bit of wrist, but it went
No.
away. So no. Thankfully, I was okay. But yeah, commercial glass is
It's
super
heavy, man. It's
Oh,
like-
it's crazy.
God.
I loved it though. So I did a lot of commercial installations. Automatic doors was my other passion. So
Yeah.
automatic swings. They got me trained up on all that stuff. But 2018, February 5th, 2018, I was upstairs at the glass shop. I was cutting like these really thin plates of I don't even remember what it was. It was like not plywood, but like MDF, something like.
Yeah.
We would cut it on a table saw to get templates for like shaped glass. So you'd cut the shape out how you want it, then you'd send it off to the factory. They would ship the glass to you.
Oh, wow.
So we were working on a big school in Fort St. John, a beautiful school, and there's this big staircase that went up from the first floor to the second floor, and the whole thing was going to be glass side. So everything had a different shape, different size. So I was upstairs by myself cutting templates on the table saw, and the piece that I was cutting got stuck in the table saw, like under the fence.
Yeah.
And the only thing I remember was me trying to like pull it out. Like I went to like pull it back,
Yeah.
and I panned in the saw.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I didn't know it at the time, but like chopped off the bit of this thumb. I didn't know that. The only thing that I knew happened was I
So
heard
you
a,
it's only chopped off.
yeah, man, like that's
Oh my God, man.
just a little bit shorter.
Well, it could have been worse, eh?
Oh, it could have been
lost
way
your
worse.
whole arm.
So it was so fast, like it was like a bang, right? And
Did it damage some of his fingers here?
oh, 100%.
Talk about that. Like,
So
what the heck? Holy
I hear the noise.
Let's go like this so we can see.
Yeah. So I'm actually, hopefully this year, I'm going to go back and get a little bit more work on this.
And
Because
then
this
just
joint
fix it.
fused like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it fused bad. But, so I hear the, and like full adrenaline, I have no idea what happens. Like I had no idea what happened.
Yeah.
But I looked down and I could see like these two fingers right here. They were still attached, man, but they were like, I could
Hanging.
see inside my fingers. They were dangling there.
Oh man.
So I was like, oh,
That's crazy.
it is crazy. So anyways, ran downstairs.
Oh, so what happened? Were you were freaking out, right?
No,
Okay.
didn't freak out at all.
So
No
this
pain,
happened
full
so
adrenaline.
so fast.
It was so fast, it took me about 3 seconds to realize. Like, it was loud.
Yeah.
So actually, like, I looked behind me because I thought whatever I was cutting, like,
Yeah.
shot back in the wall.
Yeah.
It was loud, like,
Yeah.
bang. And I just happened to look down, and I see inside my two fingers, and they're kind of, like, dangling.
Yeah.
And I, out loud, I said, no. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember that. So I ran downstairs because I'm by myself. So I ran downstairs, and I remember thinking as I'm going down the stairs, like, there's no way that this is like I shouldn't be okay right now. I'd be really freaked out, even though I didn't feel freaked out. And I said, maybe there's a chance I'm in shock and I'm gonna like pass out down these stairs or something. So I screamed out for help, and one of the guys in the shop heard it. And he walked over. He had like a clean towel in his hand, and he saw me come out like this, you know, and he looked at my hand and he's like, oh my gosh. So he kind of throws a towel on it. Big commotion. People start coming out like, are you okay? Okay. I'll use this giant rag. It's now full of blood, right? And I remember one of the sales guys, he's like, do I need to go upstairs and look?
Fingers and things like
Yeah.
that.
And I was like, I don't think so. I think they're all here. I didn't realize the tip of my thumb was gone, but.
If you find a tip, put it back together.
Oh, I've got a good story for that one.
Okay. That's good.
So the thing in 2018 was I was at this company for 3 years, and I was ambitious, and I would have conversations with my boss quite frequently, like, hey, I want to do more here. I want to get into like, I don't want to just be an installer. I was an okay installer. I was never going to be a great installer, but I want to do more here. I want to be involved in the operations. I want to be involved in sales. So my boss drives me to the hospital with, I got this big rag on, and I call my wife and I say, don't freak out.
Okay, how was that?
She didn't freak out.
Good.
2 kids, so she quickly dropped the kids off at parents, and she meets me at the hospital. But I remember joking with my boss because I'm still in shock, still no pain. And I was like, I guess you can make me a sales guy now. Like I ain't going back into the field with this club on my hand. I can't go install glass with one hand, right? So that was my coping mechanism. So we get to the hospital, and fortunately it's not a big hospital. So they get it, and they're like, there's nothing we can do. In fact, the surgeon came down the 3rd time. He was the 3rd person to unwrap it. By now it's starting to hurt. Every time they unwrap it, it's like, oh. Looked, and I was like, oh no. He said, I'm not qualified to fix that, but if you want, I can take you upstairs and I can finish the job.
What does that finish the job?
Like they were still dangling, right here. So they went in like right across the knuckles here. So he's like, I can't put them back together, but I can like just cut them, and like you'll be out of here in an hour, basically. And you just the stub club they call it. You can live as the stub club. Or he said you can get on the fastest you can to Vancouver and maybe save them.
Did you have to put ice on them?
They took me upstairs because they're still dangling. Did a little temporary job. They basically temporarily sewed them. They didn't connect any of the nerves, nothing like that. Put me upstairs, and I said, yeah, if it's okay with you, I'd like to try. Like I'm going to go to Vancouver. So they went upstairs. They put a little permanent bandage on John. Could get to Vancouver that day. And when we raced to the airport, it was quicker for us to fly on Air Canada than to wait for the medical helicopter. So they're like, buy a plane ticket. So by that point, one of the sales guys at the shop came while my wife was in the room. He brought the cup, a little plastic cup with the tip of my thumb in it, with some ice in there. He put some ice in there. And I didn't know. My tip was missing. So he brings this cup in, and he's like, we finished this. And my wife, the look on her face, man, she was just horrified. Like, oh my gosh, this is real. So I went to the airport. There's a couple funny things that happened that day. I can laugh at it now. First funny thing that happens to the airport. The flight leaves at 10:30. So we get there at like, I don't know, 9:50. So we're just trying to get through security quickly. They put a big bandage on my hand, so like it's quite obvious I had an accident. It's not bleeding, but it's quite obvious. And this guy behind us looks at my wife and says, "What happened?" And she's like, "Oh, he put his hand in a table saw. We're going to Vancouver to see if we can save the fingers." And he felt so bad. He gave my wife like $200 in cash. He's like, "I'm so sorry." So I didn't know that would happen, but that was a pretty cool thing. I wish I knew who that guy was, man, because like if I'd known how much my life was going to change, just a little moment like that was just pretty cool. We get to the airport, and I've a little cup with the tip of my thumb in it, and you have to go through security, right? So I put the cup like on the conveyor belt. When you go to the airport and you go scans through the X-ray. Starts to go through the X-ray, and the lady there, she looks down on it. She's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's the tip of my thumb." And her, like, bro, her face, she was mortified. She just was like, I'm so sorry. So they X-ray scanned my thumb just to make sure it wasn't a bomb or nothing.
It's like, you know what, let's get.
Oh man. On the plane, get to Vancouver. My brother-in-law was waiting for us, so he picked us up at the airport. Race over to the hospital. I'm still carrying this stupid cup, my thumb tip, just like the little tip of my thumb, right? So we get there, and the surgery, and they're upstairs waiting for us. So the specialist comes down, the surgeon, and she's like, "We've been expecting you. Glad you're here." And she's the cup, and she's like, "What's with the cup?" I'm like, "Oh, I brought the tip of my thumb."
Yeah.
And she looks at it like in a bag. She's looking at it, and she's like, "The tip of your thumb," she said, "it's like there's no muscle there. There's no bone. Like it's just fat, basically."
Yeah.
She's like, "We can't really reattach this because there's nothing to reattach.
So it's just meat.
It's just meat on meat, right?"
Okay.
And I said, "Okay,
Oh, yeah.
like that makes sense."
Yeah.
So she takes the cup, bro. You know, like when you're in the doctor's room and they got the yellow waste bin on the wall, like the medical bin for like needle drops and stuff.
Yeah.
She takes the tip of my thumb, opens up the lid, throws the tip of my thumb in there, and that was it. And I was like, "You got to be kidding! Like I flew all this way, 1,400 kilometers, and you just threw my thumb in the garbage." But nothing you could do, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now those are the things I can look back on and laugh. But so multiple series, you
So
know.
how was the first surgery?
It was long.
How
I mean,
long
I was for it, but
They put you on?
I think it was either 5 hours or 7 hours.
Okay.
7.
They
Yeah.
connect it?
Oh, they put me out. Oh, yeah.
They
Because
connect it?
it's a lot of intricate work,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't just like stitch it up. You got to connect everything.
So they connected all the tendons and things like that.
Yeah. So my wife, you know, the kids stayed at home. The kids were 3 and 1.
Yeah.
Stayed at home with grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
It was really hard. And my wife slept in the hospital during the surgery. It was all overnight, the surgery. And I had to stay in the hospital for 5 days because even though they can reattach limbs, there's still a really good chance you're not going to keep it.
Infection and then
100%.
rejections and things.
Bingo.
What was going to your head?
I was pretty optimistic. I think, you know, what was going through my head was, I'm glad I tried, you know, because they would check every day, like, hey, hopefully it works, hopefully it works. You know, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes literally just the finger goes dead, and then they have to remove it. But they keep you in a really warm room, like it's like 26 degrees in there, so sweating for days because they want the blood to flow and back into your fingers and get it normal again, right? So I had some visitors. My family came. My parents came from Victoria to come visit. And, spent about 5 days there, and then came back home, back to Fort St. John, and basically 5 weeks at home recovering.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
When was the first movement?
First movement. I mean, I always kind of move it a little bit like here at the base, but like, actually, no, you know when the first movement was. So this finger now has metal in it. It's got like pins in it.
Yeah.
So she doesn't bend, right? Just kind of moves.
Yeah.
This finger here, see, it's kind of like swollen.
Yeah.
It's got a fake knuckle in there. It's made of like rubber.
Yeah.
And they put it in there to try and get the knuckle to move again.
Yeah.
So what they, you know, this came later, but I basically would go to physio every day, man.
Yeah.
And the physio would make me cry because he would take my fingers and he would bend them.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
I would just hang out with him like face to face like this, like, and he'd grab my hand and he'd be like, "How you doing today?" And just bend my fingers, trying to get them to bend again, right?
Yeah.
And it was agony, absolute agony. So when I went to physio, he could bend them a little bit, but what was happening inside is like my bones, they're fused. Like there's so much damage that's fused. So he was bending something that could never bend again.
Yeah.
But we were trying.
Yeah.
We're
He's trying to
trying.
bend the bones.
He just made me cry 3 times a week, man. It was
Oh,
horrible.
man, I mean,
Everyone hates physio.
Yeah.
Physio's the worst.
it's very painful.
Oh yeah. So
Um,
yeah, that we tried physio for months just to see if we can get it going. So thankfully, I'm very. It's my left hand. I'm a right-handed guy.
you're right-handed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
The
positive.
only thing I did with this hand, I played guitar.
Oh.
I used to.
We don't play it anymore.
Wow. I can't really anymore, right? Because like you need to be able to really bend a fret on the guitar. So this one, yeah. I just like literally 2 weeks ago bought my first left-handed guitar, and I'm trying to learn this way.
The brain can learn easily. Yeah.
It's brutal.
Have you heard about the shadow effect? They put a mirror and then you can transfer it from your brain to the things from this hand to the other hand.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I don't know the process. I use both of my hands. I trained myself to use both of my hands.
No way.
Yeah, but I haven't done it for a long time. So in paintings and art, no, it's very hard, man. But you can do it. I just did it to check myself, see if I can do it, right?
That's awesome.
And,
Okay, you just inspired me because
No, you can
trying
do
to
it.
play guitar this way is horrible.
No,
it's
no.
so horrible.
You see, it's all about practice.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like learning all over again. Like I know what to do, but I
Yeah,
can't do it. You know.
There's something, I don't know the name, but I know it's called something. It's something called like a mirror effect, right?
Mirror. Yeah.
That you can transfer the knowledge from here to here, right? So
I'm gonna look that up. I'm
Up to
very
there-
interested
No,
in
no,
it.
understand. You can do things with your brain, right? That
Yeah.
is, you just have to program it,
That's
right?
it.
Because your brain is a supercomputer, right?
Yeah.
And if you program it right, you can do whatever you want. But the programming is not just right. So you convince yourself you can do it, right?
Yeah.
And then you start believing that you can do it, right? And then you imagine it in your head, right? Because your brain doesn't know anything about the hands than what it's doing, right? So let's see, if I imagine I'm using both of my hand, that's what I did actually, this, right? Using both of them, right? When you, let's say I want to write with this hand, right? So I would imagine, right, I'm writing in my head, right? With this hand. And brain cannot distinguish the difference between you actually writing it and you imagining, which is crazy,
Yeah.
right? So you're able to program whatever you want, right? So you should be, within 1 year, you should be able to program that.
I'm gonna look that up. I'm super interested.
Because
Well, yeah, you guys chatted with Vern, right? The one-armed bandit.
That guy is, I think,
He's insane, man.
He's
Like,
like, look, he was, what was he? Was he a, Jeff, was he right-handed?
He's right.
Right-handed,
Yeah,
right?
paralyzed left. Yeah.
Then now he's gonna pick people up with his left hand, right?
crazy.
So he's exactly what did he program his brain, right?
Crazy.
And then once you do that, your brain is very powerful. It creates all this extra stuff,
Yeah.
to make it possible, right? So he builds his muscles like that too. So you should be able to do,
Oh,
right?
you got me inspired, man.
No,
Because I'm
bro,
not gonna
no.
lie, the first 2 weeks has been horrible. Like it's
Yeah.
so hard. Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you
I'll
something.
get it. I'll get
No,
it.
you'll get it. Like there's a specific drum we play in my culture. We use it for like we have like I don't know how do I talk about it. It's from ancient stuff in my culture, right? So this
Yeah.
drum, it has chains in it, and it has you play it, right? And when we play it, it makes us close to ourselves. So then we can just be alone with whatever you want to call it, right? And it's very difficult to use, right? And especially if you're left-handed, right? So it took me the first time I did it, right? My fingers hurted for like a week, so I stopped. It took me about 6 months to do it proper, right? Because you're moving from this hand to other hand, right?
Yeah.
But it's doable, right? Six months it took, right? But some people give up. Like your fingers, man, they start hurting, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're not supposed to do it with the other hand. So you should be able to totally do this. It's
I'm
gonna
a
be
stubborn
perfect.
guy. I'm gonna do it.
I
I'm
know you're stubborn, so good. You can do it, man. You can do it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You might, right? Sometimes even your other hand
Yeah.
might even be better because you can do things that you couldn't do with this hand, right?
Yeah.
So, right. So yeah, I'm serious. Yeah,
Cool.
go for it. Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
do
try
it.
to find out if there's any programs or any brain activity stuff that I can send to you and you can do it.
That'd be amazing.
Okay,
That'd be
perfect.
amazing.
So after this, what happened? How was your
I'm
wife?
finally at the part where I start business. How's my wife? Let's
Yeah.
start with that. That's
Yeah,
important.
because that's important.
She's amazing.
So what happened throughout this whole thing? Was she
So she
freaking
stayed
out?
with me. No. She stayed with me in Vancouver. She can get freaked out easy, but not with me.
Yeah.
When it's me, she's calm.
Okay.
Yeah, she's good. This is why we work well together. She keeps me. No, she stayed with me in Vancouver for 5 days. It was super boring. She was in the room sweating with me because it's super warm in there. And
Oh, wow, she came in and stayed in the room with
oh
you.
yeah, man.
Oh, she's a real trooper.
Oh yeah, yeah. We brought no
Does
clothes,
she have
nothing.
any cousins? No, I'm joking, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I married a good one, bro. No, she was good. We got, she said something in the 5 days in Vancouver that was kind of, I'll never forget what she said. And I'll never forget what my reaction was. We were just talking about, it's a traumatic event, right? Table saw was loud. And she told me, and one of the days in Vancouver, she said, like, this injury, it's going to really, like, mess you up, like, mentally.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's not. Like, me being stubborn, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, no. And she insisted. She's like, no, like, I was trying to pass it off like it's my left hand, like it'll be fine. I'm gonna keep my fingers. I can go back. Like life will be the same. And she's like, yeah, you know, most of the things will be the same. But she's like, mentally, she's like, you're gonna have to process this.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And so I fought her on it. And I was like, no, I'll be fine. She couldn't have been more right. Because 2018, like, as I, you know, went back home, recovery, started the business that I now have, which is a whole story in itself, right up until the end, like, I completely cratered my health, my mental health.
Yeah.
By the time I got to December, I broke, man. Like,
How? Talk about the
in
process.
December? All right.
Talk
So,
about how this affected you mentally.
so basically all of February, I'm at home
Yeah.
with this club. Like, I can't work.
Yeah.
But I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I felt like it was my fault, this
Yeah.
injury. I was so guilty. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't wait to get back to work. I just want to get back to work. Let me go back to work, right? I want to get back in there. I felt bad that I had it happen. So I'm off work for like 5 weeks and I can't go back to work. So that's when I started thinking, I started talking to Robin, like, do you remember this parking lot idea I had? Like,
Yeah.
painting parking lots?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. I'm like, I think I want to start it. Like, you know, I got this club on my hand and I'm just sitting at home bored and I don't like to sit around bored. I hate it.
Yeah.
So we talked and she's like, you know what? I think you should do it. Because we didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we had 2 kids and I'm not making great money. And
Yeah.
we had enough money just saved up just to buy the first machine that I
Yeah.
could buy.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think you should do it.
Yeah.
So the first machine was like $5,000. And so I ended up getting that machine a couple months later. I think it was like April or May. And, you know, I was on the fence about it for a while. But the thing that pushed me over the edge, in addition to my wife supporting me, was the shopping mall where I used to work. My boss was still there. And I phoned him and I was like, who paints the parking lot now? And he's like, oh, nobody. He's like, I refuse to hire that guy. Still to this day, he's like, I refuse to hire. Now it's like 2018. So I told him, I was like, what if I got a painting machine?
Yeah.
Would you hire me? And he's like, done. Yeah.
Oh.
Just tell me when it's here. We'll put, like, you're in.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's all I need to hear. I'm going to buy the machine. Now I got a job lined up, right? I sold a job. So I got the machine and started painting in May of that year. So I went back to, you know, just back up. I went back to work like at the glass shop in April,
Yeah.
still recovering. So I was mostly in the office doing some office stuff. They cross-trained me on some things to get back to work. And eventually I got back into the field a little bit. But that whole 2018 was a mixture of me, you know, working Monday to Friday, 7 to 4 in the morning. And then in my evenings and weekends, when the parking lots are empty, that's when I would take my parking lot painting machine and I'd go around Fort St. John. I didn't even have a truck. I had a little trailer, like a tiny motorcycle trailer, and I would push the machine into the motorcycle trailer, and I would hook that up to my minivan, because I had a Dodge minivan, because I have 2 kids, right? So didn't have a truck. And I would drive this minivan and my motorcycle trailer around Fort St. John painting parking lots. So it was a busy year. So I still had the cleaning job, worked full time, 2 kids, man of faith, busy in my congregation, and I was started painting parking lots. Like that, basically by the time I got to the end of 2018, I was trying to do so much, man. And I'm like, my health just
Went down.
crumbled.
What happened?
The first thing that happened was like it was like in July. That's when Robin really started to notice it. She's like, I think you might need some help. And I was like, no. Watch this. Like I can work, you know, I can raise the kids, I can start a business, I can do my cleaning, I can do it all, I'm fine. That was my answer to everything, was like push. Keep pushing. Which is a good trait to have, but not always, because I pushed too hard. So in July, there was a day when we were getting ready to go. It was a Sunday. We were getting ready to go to our meeting on Sunday morning. And I was in the shower, and I was just like, I started just bawling hysterically. Like, because it got to the point, I was so busy, so tired, and I would put on this like facade, this mask that I'm good. I got this. I can do it all. But I couldn't do it all. And that was the first time where she really saw me struggle, and she said, like, you need to go talk to somebody. Like, go to counseling. So I went once. Typical dude. Yeah, I went once. And I actually didn't even mind. I didn't mind the counseling session, but I wouldn't go back again. I was like, no, I'm good. Keep pushing. So by the time we get to like August, man, like this little parking lot business I had, this just painting parking lots. Like, once the paving company found me,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, we'd love to hire you because we're sick of hiring the other guys." So like,
Oh my God, it's
so
that
the-
bad.
dude. So I started doing work for them. So every time they pave a parking lot, they'd call me, "Come paint it." So like evenings, weekends, show up with my minivan, and I was so busy, so go that there was a day in December where like I still don't remember most of the morning.
What happened?
It was I think it was a Tuesday because it was a cleaning day, so I still had my cleaning contract. So by now it's closer to winter. I remember going to the cleaning job, but I just remember being so tired, man, mentally, physically and mentally tired. So I did the cleaning job. I don't probably didn't do that good of a job, and I was done early, so I didn't go to work. I just sat in the parking lot, and I started getting these just terrible, like dark thoughts, like I'm not happy, like I'm tired. So I sat in the parking lot, and eventually drove to work at the glass shop,
Yeah.
but I don't remember going. Apparently I was there for like 40 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
So I went to work, showed up at 7:30, whatever time I was supposed to start. And by like shortly after 8 a.m., I just left, which I don't remember doing.
Yeah.
Like I was having a break
You were having a nervous breakdown, right?
in slow motion, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do remember calling my wife. Like I was driving, I don't even know where I was going.
Yeah.
Like I eventually parked the truck, called my wife, and I said, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And next thing I remember, we're at the hospital, getting checked out. So there was a good like section of time that morning where I just was like, I fried, just totally fried, just too much, man. Trying to do too much that whole year, and it caught up to me. And that I'm very fortunate because there was times in that morning where I was like, I don't want to be here.
You
Like
were
I'm
thinking
tired.
about taking yourself out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What were the thoughts?
What were they?
No.
I don't remember, like, there's so much that morning I don't remember, but all I can tell you is that, like, I just didn't want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I was trying to bury myself in my guilt for the accident
Yeah.
by doing everything. Just like, nothing's going to slow me down. I'm not going to miss any more time at work. I'm just going to go. I'm going to, like, no weakness, no
Yeah.
weakness.
Yeah.
And I think that morning it was just like, I got nothing left to give. Like, I didn't want to do it anymore. Like, I just would push so hard and then just decided that morning I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah.
So what happened at the hospital? What was the result?
Long conversation with a professional. Went home that morning, took the rest of the day off, obviously. Probably took the rest of the week off, honestly. I don't remember. But it thankfully, like, and I'm very grateful, like my wife's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like, she got me to the hospital, but she also told me after, like, gently, she said, do you remember in Vancouver when I told you this is going to mess you up?
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, I didn't know it was going to be this bad, but it messed you up.
Yeah.
And since that, like, that whole year was just, that's crazy year, 2018. But since then, Robin and I, like, we love each other to death. She's stuck with me forever. I'm stuck with her forever. But she told me I would never actually leave you.
Yeah.
But there's so many days in 2018 where I just wanted to leave you because I saw you wrecking yourself.
Yeah.
I saw you not looking after yourself.
Yeah.
So thankfully, she didn't leave me. And the other thing that comes from that, like, even to this day, like, when I hear people get injured, especially at work,
Yeah.
I take it so seriously now, like, oh, I hope you're okay. Not just the injury, not just like bones heal, fingers, whatever. Like, but up here, like, I worry about people now. Like, it could really mess you up. So that's thankfully gave me a lot more awareness and perspective in my life to be careful with that sort of thing.
So how do you deal with it when you get home?
How?
Yeah.
By realizing that the next year, 2019, because so much of my issues was like trying to do too much.
Yeah.
So there was no way I was going to
Have all
work.
those jobs. Yeah.
I couldn't do it, bro. I can't clean, can't work full time in a glass shop and paint parking lots. And the parking lot painting business was growing. Like,
Yeah.
it was becoming more. By the time we got to February,
Yeah.
there's still snow on the ground, but I had sold so many jobs for that year. They're like, yeah, book me now. And I was like, I don't want to put myself, my wife, my kids through that again.
Yeah.
Kind of like to stick around.
Yeah.
So through a lot of conversations and a lot of, reflecting, basically, decided I can't do it all. I can't do it the same way I did it this year.
Yeah.
So I got rid of the cleaning contract,
Yeah.
decided to quit my day job,
Yeah.
and I just started painting parking lots full time, man. Just started working for myself.
Good. So how did it expand? Let's go through that.
Oh, man.
But before that, how was your wife throughout the whole thing? Because she supported you, right?
She,
was she the person that
I
made you
think it-
decide, right, to
I think it's like her superpower with
Yeah.
me, man. She supports me like in times where I don't think I would support me. Like,
I tell you, you're lucky, man. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. I have actually
Yeah.
friends that
yeah, man.
as soon as things get tough, everybody, both male and the female, they each, that's it, right?
Oh, Robin.
See you later.
Like, she told me to buy that machine in 2018, and so in 2019 when I was telling her, like, Robin, I've sold a lot of jobs, like, I don't think I can do it all.
Yeah.
I don't want to crash my health again. She's like, well, why not quit your day job?
Yeah.
So she's the one who kind of,
Yeah.
essentially gave me the permission to go for it.
Yeah.
So 2019, I quit my job, which was the most bizarre thing in the world,
Yeah.
because that's all I'd known is working for, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So now it was all up to me. So
Yeah.
I put all that time. I'm still, to this day, I'm still super motivated, man. Like, very ambitious. I like it, like being busy. So I put all that time, my newfound time, not working Monday to Friday, I just put that into the business. And I made enough money just in the 6 months, 7 months painting that it was enough for me to get by in the winter. And, so that was kind of an exciting first year. At the end of that year, we decided to move to Prince George. And,
And you did the business here.
Yeah, so my family was here. We were the last ones left in Fort St. John, so we had been talked for years, like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Everyone viewed me as like little Cam. They knew me when I was like a little kid, right?
Yeah.
Like still pinching my cheeks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but now I'm 28. I have 2 kids and business. So yeah, we decided, at the end of 2019, let's move to Prince George. So we were a little bit freaky because I didn't really know. I had family here, but business-wise, didn't have any contacts.
Yeah.
So a little bit freaky. Like, am I going to get enough work here? Like, there's other companies here in Prince George that do that. There's not just one guy, in Prince George. There's
Yeah.
other companies that do this parking lot thing. So, like, am I going to have enough work? But we decided to try it anyways. So.
Yeah. So how do you start it here?
How?
Because you had. So I guess you left everything. Do you keep the contracts over there, or you just?
To this day, we still do a lot of work up there, man.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, we go back and forth. Like, I used to go up quite a bit, and now we have at least one crew that frequently goes up there. Oh yeah,
Okay.
quite a bit.
So then, how do you started it here? So,
Yeah, so I started here. We got here like in winter time, 2019. So you can't paint parking lots in the winter. So
No,
I just picked up some odd work,
Yeah.
just to stay busy.
Yeah.
And then I spent January, February, March just getting ready to, meet new people, find new opportunities, find some jobs, things like that. Put my name out there in the business, right? And then COVID hit.
Yeah, that was something.
You
Every
remember?
man, I have people that lost everything. Like rich, everything is gone, man. They went back to step one,
Yeah.
but now they're up again, right? So that's because you're ambitious.
I was freaked out, man. Like, nobody knew what was going on then.
That was
But
insane. All the things that happened. We cannot talk about it, but you know what I mean.
crazy. Yeah. But it worked out. Like for my business, it worked out okay. Like, thankfully, like, we didn't have restrictions. You can still work out in parking lots. With the pandemic.
Yeah.
So even though it was a new business and I was freaked out with COVID, like the business doubled that year.
Yeah.
Just me, and I hired my first person to help me that summer.
Yeah. So how was that? Because now you have to. See, the problem with when you do everything alone yourself, right?
Yep.
There's a specific way you do things, right? And then when you have to involve somebody else, you're worried that it's not going to be the same quality. So talk about how that because you want to expand, you have to start hiring people. How was those experiences?
Bro, I agonized. Over hiring my first person, I was in agony. Like, when do I do it? How do I know the time is right? How am I going to support this person? What if there's not enough work? How, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I eventually hired my first person. And, to his credit, he was a younger guy.
Yeah.
He was 18.
Yeah.
And he didn't need to work full 40 hours a week. He was still in school, 17, 18. So he would come out to jobs with me. So I was always kind of there, always making sure, you know, like it's new for me training somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
And I picked it up pretty quick, but now I have to train somebody. So I just made sure I was always there. And so there was no real issues the first year, just me learning how to lead somebody, you know, and employ somebody. It's very different. And, you know, to this day, like that's the thing that I'm motivated by the most is giving people an opportunity to have a unique work position to accomplish their personal goals. Like that's what I love. That's why I do what I do. But at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing.
So then how did it expand it? Talk about that.
So 2020, the business doubled, even though COVID happened.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to the end of 2020, I hired a business coach, and he encouraged me to try snow removal. Even though I hated snow removal,
Yeah.
I didn't want anything to do with it.
There's a lot of money in there.
Because there is a lot of money in snow removal. So I hired a different younger guy and put him in a plow truck.
Yeah.
We just rented. I didn't even have a good plow truck, so we rented a plow truck, and he sat in the truck for that winter in 2020, and I sat at home and just was like working on sales and operations and getting ready for the next year. And he would go out and when it snowed and plow snow. I lost $21,000 the first snow removal season.
Why?
Because it didn't snow that much, and we were trying to put that plow truck like to subcontract to bigger companies, like the big snow guys.
Yeah.
But because it didn't snow much that year, by the time it snowed, they didn't want us. All their guys wanted to work.
Yeah.
So I called everyone when it started snowing, like, hey, do you need my truck? Do you need my truck? And they're like, no, we don't need your truck. So we rented this plow truck. We were paying, I don't even remember, like $4,000 a month maybe.
$4,000 a month.
$3,000 with a fancy plow. I don't remember what it was. And it just sat for a lot of the time. And then the strategy was, I wasn't going to plow snow. It was going to be the younger guy plowing the snow. So it did not make money the first year, but it allowed me enough time to kind of learn how the snow removal industry worked, but then to set us up for 2021, continuing to grow the business. And from 2021 onward is when it really took off. Yeah, we went from 2 people to 4 people very quickly. And then by 4, it was at 8, and then pretty soon it was 12, and now we're 19, I think, 18, 19 of us. Yeah, still growing. So there was a moment, like, actually my wife and I were just talking about this today. It's so funny. I don't know why we're talking about it, but today she's like, this was never the plan to employ 20 people. Like, it was just me painting parking lots. We don't regret it. Like, I don't regret it at all. I love what I do. But it was never the plan to, like, have a full-fledged operation. It's hard.
You had to learn about managing people, right? Because you went from a 1 person now to 19 people. How did you deal with that? Right? Because it's good to expand and money is coming in, but the most difficult thing is managing people, right? So how did you do that?
I hate the term managing people. I hate it.
Well,
sometimes
I
you do.
know.
Hey, sometimes you do.
Sometimes
you have to
you
manage, and that's all part of it. I view it as how am I leading people to accomplish what they want to do. So that, like, it was never part of the plan. I never thought we'd have 18, 20 people. But I've basically poured a lot of time and energy because I want to understand, like, how do I, like, look, if you want me to just go paint a parking lot tomorrow, I can do it. Like, I don't do much of it anymore, but I'm very capable of it. But it's a lot harder when you're growing a business, a lot harder to build a system where people can succeed. So I've done that, like, without question. Like, I'm not naturally great at it. I have always surrounded myself with people in my professional network who have done the thing that I'm trying to do, and, like, always had a mentor to help me, like, because people are awesome, but people can be challenging, man. Like, there's work problems that happen, like, all the time, and if it was just about the money, I wouldn't do it. So one thing that I've said a lot at our team meetings, in the summer we have a weekly team meeting, and I'm careful of how I say this because I don't want to give people the wrong impression, but something I say a lot to our team is, You know, in 2021 there was 4 of us,
Yeah.
and we didn't have a shop. We didn't have 2, 3, 4 crews. You know, we didn't need to do snow removal.
Yeah.
I've told them like, had we just stayed at like 3 people,
Yeah.
me and 3 other people, just stayed to a 4-person company, like myself personally, I would be taking home way more money, because the cost of running the business with 20 people goes way up. There's so much more expenses, more equipment, more trailers, more rent, more shop, more salesperson, an estimator person, an admin person, an operations manager. Like all these costs just come. And so like I'm not motivated by money, so I don't pay myself a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
But if I was interested in the money, we could have stayed small.
Yeah.
In 2021, just 3, 4 people, and I'd personally be taking home way more money. But I chose not to.
Yeah.
Not because I'm this great noble guy. It's
Yeah.
because it doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
Like one day I'll make more money. I'm not worried about it. One day it'll come back to me, I'm sure. But right now, what I'm much, much more interested in is building a team of people who are collectively moving forward
Yeah.
to a greater mission. That's what fires me up. That's what gets me going.
That's amazing, man. You know, Japanese, we know the culture, right? Sometimes like the CEOs,
Japan's, I don't know where you're going with this, because Japan's a cool culture.
I love it, man.
Yeah, yeah.
But sometimes, you know, the CEOs, they take less money than the workers, right? Because it's all about the, you know, for the mission and things like that, right? So
Yeah.
I think you're doing something like that almost, right? So
Trying, yeah. Like anyone who's ever worked at our company,
Yeah.
whenever somebody comes to work, they fill out a form
Yeah.
On their phone, on a computer, digital form. It's got 11 questions on it, and they're not like earth-shattering questions. They're not crazy. It's just simple things like, if you could sum up what you want in employment in one word, what would it be? And we have people write it out. What are the 3 things that motivate you the most?
Yeah.
What are the 3 things that like trigger you the most? What do you hate?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 2 years?
Yeah.
Like those kinds of questions. And I love to like crack people open
Yeah.
and understand, like, you know, sometimes people will fill in that form,
Yeah.
and you know, to this day, somebody might write, the thing that I want the most from employment is stability.
Yeah.
And so now that instantly tells me as a leader,
Yeah.
I need to make sure that I keep this person in a stable environment.
Yeah.
Like they have a wife, they have kids, they have some sort of situation where they need to be stable.
Yeah.
But sometimes somebody will fill in that form and they'll say, the one thing I want the most is opportunity or growth
Yeah.
or a shot.
Yeah.
And so with those people, now I know, like, okay, you want to be pushed to see like how far you can push your personal or your professional development, right? And so we use that form. I mean, it's one of many things we do, but I use that form to basically understand, like on an individual level, like what motivates my people, and how can this company be the vehicle that gets the person from where they are in life to where they want to go.
Yeah.
Like somebody puts on that form, I want to take my kids to Disneyland and not worry about the cost.
Yeah.
This company can help you do that. If that's what really motivates you, that's so. Yeah, you know, we'll go out, we'll paint parking lots. We'll now we do pavement and we do, you know, snow removal. A lot of snow removal now. But like those are the services we do.
Yeah.
But what we're really trying to do is get people to where they want to go in life. That's what jazzes me up, man. That's
Cool.
Yeah.
So have you had people leaving your company?
Leaving?
Yeah. Have you had any of those?
You want the honest answer?
Yeah.
We've only had 2 people quit.
Okay.
Only 2.
Yeah.
And they were both put in the same position, same job title.
Yeah.
So one was in 2021, one was in 2022.
Yeah.
And they quit because I was asking so much of them.
Yeah.
You know, in a higher, the company was growing, and I'm like, hey, we need more manager, more leader, more supervisors. And I asked these 2 people at different times, like, to do a job that they weren't set up to succeed in.
Yeah.
And so the second one in particular, when he left in 2022,
Yeah.
I begged him to stay. I was like, oh, I don't want to lose you, man. Good person, great person. We still talk to this day. He just bought us a whiskey the other day. Great guy. And we gave him an offer to stay that was like so much money, way more than I was paying myself. And he still said no, because it wasn't, he knew he was just going to be frustrated. He wasn't able to successfully accomplish the
Yeah.
job. So I've learned from that. Those two people that have quit, you know, we certainly had to let people go.
Yeah.
We certainly fired people along the way. Kind of our approach that we take in the company is let's be slow to hire,
Yeah.
make sure we get the right people.
Yeah.
But if things do go wrong, don't be slow to fire.
Yeah.
Like if people don't fit the culture of
Yeah.
what we're doing, if they're like a cancer in the company and they're they're causing problems,
Yeah.
we don't keep those people.
Yeah.
Culture is everything to us.
Talk about the culture.
That's my job. So like, I don't paint the parking lots anymore.
Yeah.
I'm technically responsible for the sales
Yeah.
department, so all of our sales, but we have an amazing sales rep, so he does all that work. My job is to build the culture and the environment for these 20 people, men and women, to succeed. And that's something I've come to embrace that. Like I enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's what I read about. That's what I write about. I love writing. A lot of the work that I do on my podcast is about that. How do you lead people effectively? I love it. I'm just enamored with it. So the culture, it's building a culture like where people want to work at your company. It's not, I heard this recently, it's not like a marketing plan. Like you don't write out this plan of this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's a series of values that you incorporate into the company consistently, year over year, day over day, week over week, month over month. And it's all, for lack of a better term, it's always doing the right thing
Yeah.
as a leader, even when it might be the last thing you want to do. It might be the hardest thing to do. Like people don't get to see a lot of the struggles the company has as it's being built.
Yeah.
But even when you're going through struggles and hard times, like this week, man, we've had a hard week already this week. There's been a couple of really difficult things. And people at the company don't always see that.
Yeah.
But I refuse to let one of those issues impact how I'm going to deal with
Yeah.
somebody in the company. Like,
So you take it all yourself.
I don't think it's so much take it all myself. I think it's more,
Or you experience it, you don't pass the experience down. Right?
don't pass like,
Negativity that comes from it.
I put it this, I worked somewhere once.
Yeah.
I think I've learned a lot of what I do now from my experiences.
Yeah.
I worked somewhere at a place once where if the boss, he was the operations manager, if he was unhappy,
Yeah.
you knew. Like you could feel it. You walk into the room and you knew.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
And like, if that's the culture, like if the way you get treated is dependent on how your boss is feeling that day,
Yeah.
that sucks.
That's horrible.
It's horrible, man. No, you don't want to work there. And conversely, you shouldn't have to wait until he's happy and laughing to go,
Ask for a raise.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
The mood of the leader shouldn't impact the morale of everyone else.
Yeah.
So even in like really difficult moments,
Yeah.
man, I try so hard. Like,
Yeah.
there's been some really tough moments over the past 3 years, like really tough. Like,
What do you want to talk about? Do you want to say one of it?
I shouldn't have said that.
Say one of it. You can say.
Yeah. No, I'm laughing because, oh man,
You knew this was coming
how
up.
much time do we got left?
We can do maybe 15 more minutes.
All right. Because I'll talk forever, so I
Let's
just,
not talk.
I just want to be super respectful. Okay. I can talk about this now because it's been more than 2 years.
Okay, good.
I told myself 2 year statute of limitations. So when we started snow removal in 2020, we lost about 20 grand, like
Yeah.
21 grand. It was horrible. But I didn't care because we had enough money in the bank. I paid to learn a lesson, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how snow removal works. I've never
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
But I paid and I learned a lot. I spent 21 grand to learn a lot. So the next year, when we got to the next year, I was working with my business coach. We refined how we were going to do things, made a lot of improvements, and thankfully actually made money in snow removal the next year. But there was a moment during that snow season in 2021. It would have been earlier on in the year, maybe December 2021. I can't remember how many of us in the company there were now. Probably like 8 full-time people, 7, 8. And our snow removal, we had around approximately 15 properties, but 2 of them were really big.
Yeah.
Really big. So they paid a lot of money,
Yeah.
and they were fixed price contracts, which meant even if it didn't snow, we got paid.
Yeah.
Same amount every month for 6 months. So
Yeah.
really good contracts. The problem was those 2 properties were tied to the same client. It was the same company that owned them. So every month we go, we do the snow removal, send them an invoice on the last day of the month, and then sometime in the next 30 days they would pay us, right? And we still work with this company to this day. Great company to work with. We love them. They pay very consistently. But there was the 1 month where the checks didn't come in,
Yeah.
and it went past 30 days. It was very unusual. And so what happened was, a lot of the equipment we were using to clear the snow, we were renting. We were renting equipment because we didn't own a lot of these big loaders and stuff ourselves. We just rented them. And so the rental company needed to get paid their money to rent the equipment.
Yeah.
And we were stuck waiting for these 2 checks
Yeah.
from our biggest snow client that just weren't coming in. And it started going like 5 days late, 10 days late. And so I was, calling like, hey, is it, oh yeah, we got them. Checks are coming.
Yeah.
You'll get them soon. And it got to the point, I don't remember the exact day, but it got to the point like 15, 20 days later where the rental company, they were getting really mad.
Yeah.
They said like, Cam, like you got to pay, man. And I said, I don't got the money, man.
Yeah.
Like, so the mistake I made was so much of our revenue was tied into one customer.
Yeah.
And if that one customer, for any reason, is slow to pay,
You're finished.
you're waiting, right? So all the little sites paid us, but they weren't enough to feed the company and keep
Yeah.
it going. So it got to a point where the rental company on like a Wednesday, they gave me an ultimatum, and they basically said, look, you have to have it in by Friday, the end of the day. If you don't have the money in by Friday, we're going to take the snow equipment back.
Yeah.
Because it sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I said, I get it. I wasn't even mad. I was like, I get it. So I spent the next 48 hours trying to get money, basically, to keep this thing going. Because if they took the snow equipment back,
You're done, right?
dude, we can't plow the snow anymore because
Yeah.
all the equipment's gone. We instantly lose the contract,
Yeah.
instantly lose all the revenue. Now I have to lay people off because there's
Yeah.
no work.
Yeah.
There was one job we did that summer. It was a big job at an airport that they still hadn't paid us the full amount either. So
Yeah.
we were waiting for not just the snow money, but this one airport in particular. They were very slow to pay. Long story, I won't get into it. We finally get to like November, December, and they still haven't paid. It was a lot of money. It was like tens of thousands of dollars. And I was escalating the urgency in my conversations with them, like,
Yeah.
look, like, I need you guys to pay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's problems up there. We're having problems getting paid from the client. So eventually we'll get you the money and blah, blah, blah. And so when I got that ultimatum on Wednesday, I ended up phoning that company, who we still work with to this day. We have no problem with the company. Phoned them on Thursday, and I said, look, I don't think, like, I need to tell you how severe this is. Like, if we don't get this money from you in the next 48 hours, I'm not going to be around next year to help you on the next airport,
Yeah.
which they had already asked us to bid pricing. And I said, I'd love to work with you on that airport next year.
Yeah.
I'm going to be bankrupt in the next 48 hours. And I said, here's what's going to happen. Like, I don't have enough money to keep my snow operation going. So they're going to come take the equipment. I'm going to have to lay people off, which means I got no one to do the work, which means I won't be able to help you next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Thursday came and they said, okay, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. So Friday came as the day of the ultimatum,
Yeah.
right? And I phoned the rental company at around 12 p.m. and I said, look, what time do I have? How long today do I have? And the lady on the phone, she's like, I leave here at 4:45.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I phoned
Yeah.
the airport company again and I said, look, like, this is it.
Yeah.
I have 4.5 hours. You got to help me out here. Like, I've been patient to this point, but I can't be patient anymore. Like, if you need me around next year to help you with your other projects, like, I need this money collected. So the accounting department there said, okay, we have it approved. We're gonna wire you the money electronically.
Yeah.
So I said, great. Like, approximately when will it come in? She's like, oh, by the end of the day.
Oh,
It's
God.
all set up.
Yeah.
So the whole afternoon, I'm sitting there on my phone, like,
Checking the number.
right,
Heart
dude,
attack, yeah.
swipe, like, refresh,
Yeah.
bank feed. It's getting to like 4 o'clock now. I still don't have the money.
Yeah.
So I phoned the rental company again, and I was like, what time are you leaving? Just want to be sure. She's like, 4:45. I'm leaving. So I'm in the parking lot. I'm in my car, in a work truck, sitting in the parking lot where we kept the equipment. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at it like, this is it, man. Like, swiping my phone. I'm on the phone with Robin because she knows how stressful this was, and she's like, "Keep your head up, keep your head up. It's gonna work." I swipe my phone at 4:29, and there's like 30 grand in the account,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh man!" So I quickly threw as much money on the